pros and cons on this guy. Every one of the models has little different things. You can still see it if you understand what's going on. You know that this is the vertebral body, therefore this is the anterior part of the spinal cord. Spinal cord, we have dorsal gray horns and ventral gray horns. If I am in the thoracic region, I will also have a lateral gray horn.
And that's what you were talking about tonight, where
the sympathetic nervous system arises from. We know that anything motor exits the ventral part of the spinal cord. All sensory information comes in the dorsal part of the spinal cord.
Afferent is bench.
Okay, think A comes before E, so afferent comes before efferent.
Okay.
You have to feel before you can respond.
Okay.
So afferent is sensory.
Okay.
It's always dorsal.
It's the opposite of the cardiovascular, because arteries away, and your instinct is to do it. Remember, it's E-way.
That's just going to confuse me more. I don't want to
Dr.
say more stuff.
Coleman.
That's how I remember it. They go away from you.
They do. Okay, so we looked at our ventral rootlets. When the motor information comes out, goes to a ventral root. We also had sensory information coming
Sorry,
in.
hold on. Someone called me, got interrupted. Okay, go ahead.
Sensory information coming in arises through a dorsal root ganglion to a dorsal root that goes to the dorsal rootlets into a sensory interneuron in the dorsal gray horn. However, once I combine motor information out with sensory information in, I actually have a spinal nerve. Spinal nerve is very small. It's just about the length of the intervertebral foramen. From there are always two major branches to every spinal nerve. You'll have a ventral ramus that serves everything anterior to the intervertebral foramen. You will have a dorsal ramus that just serves the stuff in the middle of my back. You also have, when I'm dealing with the thoracic region, you are going to have the motor neurons, motor axons of the sympathetic nervous system exiting through the ventral root to a rami communicantes, where they end up in a sympathetic ganglion. We call it a sympathetic chain ganglion because remember, when they get here, they might go up, they might go down, they might turn around and come right back out, or they might pass through and form my prevertebral ganglions in my abdominal cavity, the abdominal stuff. But we call this whole thing a sympathetic chaining ganglion. The axon then, if I am exiting at this sympathetic ganglion, will go back to a rami communicantes, and this axon will then either go out through the ventral ramus or the dorsal ramus to where it's got to go. The other thing on here, you